Welcome back to Talking with Teri TV. And on today's episode of Spilling the Tea, we're spilling the tea on Miss USA and Miss Teen USA. Now, I felt like it was only fitting and appropriate to jump in here with my own sash. This comes from, this is an entrepreneur extraordinaire from eWomen Network sash, and my tiara here. Enough. This is not my tiara, but the one I was Miss Homecoming Queen, believe it or not. That's such a random fact. Anywho, we're going to be spilling the tea here and we're going to be sharing with you what is unraveling with this upcoming case. So take a listen.
Our investigation into the Miss USA mayhem. In just 5 days, Miss Hawaii will be crowned the new Miss USA in her native state.
And I believe as Miss USA, I can reach the whole nation to show kindness.
Her coronation comes after the reigning Miss USA, Noelia Voigt, stunned the pageant world by suddenly quitting. 2 days later, Miss Teen USA also resigned. Noelia, who is bound by an NDA, spoke briefly to People.
If something isn't good for you, it's okay to step away from it.
NBC News obtained a
And again, I think that's so important. Again, you know when it's out of alignment, you know when, hey, this is not going down the path that you are intended for. And again, it is absolutely, you heard my other video say it's okay to quit. And these are times when it's okay to quit. Okay.
copy of her resignation letter, which reportedly includes claims of a toxic work environment and bullying. The Miss USA organization has maintained, quote, the well-being of our title holders is a top priority. ET spoke to 3 Miss USA title holders and the organization's former social media director. Their consensus?
I think the most important thing is transparency.
We all signed the same document that silences Noelia Enuma in perpetuity till the end of time. The NDA never lifts.
It was kind of like, if you didn't sign this, you're not going to compete.
If you have nothing to hide, why can't they speak?
Nia Sanchez, who was crowned Miss USA in 2014 and stars on the Vanderpump Rules spinoff The Valley, says her reign was like a roller coaster.
I actually experienced depression for the first time during my years as Miss USA, but at the same time, there was a completely different organization that was running the program. They had a psychiatrist on call for any Miss USA or Miss Universe. They fully supported our mental health.
All right, and I will say that these pageancies, there's a lot that goes into, and there's a lot that is involved. I recently had a friend and a client attending the Miss Colorado Senior edition. How much time and energy and resources she put towards this is pretty incredible. And that's at a way different level, right? And so I just think that there's something that is, you know, underlying the surface here that is going to reveal itself in due time. Because here's the thing, people don't step away from opportunities like this. And unless there's something seriously happening. It's one thing to have a comment here or something like this, but this seems like it's more systemic. And so I'll be interesting to see how this continues to unfold, right? Because again, these women spend time, energy, and some of these women have done this all their lives, sending a loud message. And I think the message has been received on a magnitude level. You know, there was some sexual harassment that was happening about being in a car that was not fully supervised the way it should have been. There was some, you know, like you heard on the video, you know, toxic work-like environments, and who knows what else. But and again, she's bound by this NDA, which sounds like it's pretty ironclad. However, there's some other, you know, ancillary conversations that are happening that are kind of pulling into and kind of providing us some information about what could really be happening here. So since coming out, not only have Miss America, Miss Teen, I'm here in Colorado, Miss Colorado has also stepped down as well. And so I just think it's pretty phenomenal that these women are standing their ground and they are, you know, doing something pretty unbelievable, because it requires such incredible courage to speak out when something is out of alignment. You know, these women are going up against some of the giants. This is not an easy feat. And so what we're seeing here is something pretty remarkable by these women. So good on them. And it sounds like some of these other women are being inspired because one person's like, you know what, this is not in alignment. There's some other inspiration that's happening for other women to get permission to step away as well. So I would love to hear from your thoughts on this. Like, what do you think is going on? Drop your comments below. Be really careful on how I say this. So just lean in here. I'm gonna delicately talk about this without naming names or, hopefully giving away anything. But my daughter, at one point in her school years, she was being bullied by someone who did pageants. And, we went through the proper channels at the school. And I just told my daughter, I said, if this is not, taken care of, this first level, then we will have to, continue going down this road. And so the boundary was set, the school was involved, and then this person continued to text my daughter. And the language that this person was using was unbelievable. And I was just like, wow, here she is, supposed to be representing the crown and all of this. And that is not what we were experiencing. And so we had to be really, and I told my daughter, I was screenshotting these text messages because I'm like, you know what, I am guessing that this is probably not in alignment with the value system with the pageants, with the pageant. And so anyways, it did get nipped in the hiney. And so we were very grateful for that. But it was just one of those things that's like, wow, where is this message coming from that's okay to treat another human like this? So I'm just saying we've had our own experiences in a roundabout way that maybe was not so favorable. And it did turn out okay. And so we were happy about that. But again, like there's this message going, like, where does this come from? Because there's this outer appearance, and then there was like a behind the scene, like what's really happening for us. And that's our experience. And I'm like, wow, okay. Because I guess I was just a little naive to think that if you're going to be presenting yourself, let me back up and say, you know what, I'm a huge believer in this, in the sense that, especially with speakers, whenever you take a stage or whatever, I believe that who we are on stage should also be who we are off stage. There really should not have this like dichotomy. Like we're showing up authentically on and off stage, right? And I thought the same thing about this because I was like, wow, this person is delivering something very different and not in alignment with what was being presented. Okay. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. And I will say that it feels like the world is just getting a major facelift right now. I mean, all of the systems are going through this interesting time. And, I'd say the last 2 to 4 years here, we've seen this like breaking down, exposing. The good news is that we get to really see and to start to rethink how we do life, how things have been going, and really shift this energy for the greater good. So I think we're winning in that way. In Miss Voigt's resignation letter, and when I heard this, I was like, wait, like, was someone tipped off about this? Like, I got to do my own fact checking. And I'm going to put the copy of the letter up here so you can see it too, but you'll have to take a little time to read through that. But the first 11 sentences, someone had mentioned, like, it does spell out, I am silenced. And I was like, no way. So of course I geeked out and I read the letter. And yes, it is truly saying the first 11 letters, if you take the first letter of the first 11 sentences, it does say, I am silenced. And so take a look for yourself, okay? I promise you there's more to this. This is just the beginning of what is being exposed. And I think that there's probably some nefarious stuff that's happening that we're exposing it so that we can make choice, so we can say, you know what, how do we shift this? How do we change this? Because, I will say that we all vote. We all vote every single day with our dollars. Where we're voting with our time, where we're voting with our energy, whether we're voting with dollar bills, right? We are always voting every single day. And so if there's something that doesn't align with us, we get to vote and not watch it or not participate in it or not buy those tickets or not go to the event or not go to whatever it is. And so I think this is an opportunity for us to take a really good look at what's serving and what's not serving us, and then being able to make choice around the choices that we make. So here you have all these innocent children, teenagers, and young adults, and they're pursuing their dreams. They're putting in the energy, the time, the resources. They're getting so excited by all of this. And then, because it's shiny and sparkly here, but what's happening and what's being exposed is once you get behind closed doors, there's a different reality. And so you have this outward experience and then the inward. And I do think, here this organization, speaks about and touts about women empowerment, women supporting other women, all of this. And it sounds like that there's something else that's going on, because it doesn't sound like it's congruent anymore. And so I think when this happens, you have these big brands, big businesses, that they have these two separate instances of what's really happening. You have the outward appearance, and then you have the inward, the reality. And I'm just saying that it may turn out to be two different things. So as business owners, it's really, really important that we show up authentic on and off stage, in and out of our business, and having that alignment. And I will tell you, I'm just getting really exposed to jazzercise, and you'll see our last video that we did, or one of the last videos that we did, we interviewed Judy Shepard Missett. And I will tell you that I have been able to see some ins and outs, and I'll be honest, talk about a business that's really congruent, and it's really pretty inspiring to watch this mega company have mega impact, but really down to the core are just really true to themselves, to their really small town upbringing. And so I just think it's a really powerful message to be really careful on when we're building, impact, and when we're building our empires, is to really keep that in check of how we stay in alignment with our core values and show up authentically in the inside as well as the outside. And when we do, we become unstoppable. Again, it's just a reminder to really stay true to ourselves and our business and our message, so that we can have that big impact in doing so, which is the greatest good for all involved. Yes? Well, as always, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be the magic of you, and I'll see you on the next episode.